Good morning to
Good
you
morning,
on
Curt and
this
Jen in the morning pod slash videocast on this what?
on this Wednesday morning. It's
Oh, I thought
Wednesday,
maybe you had
right?
on this gorgeous sunny Wednesday morning. I don't, it's not, well,
It's not gorgeous out here. It's not like it was so blustery last night
yeah, well, you know what?
in the
This is one of
Pacific
those days where
Northwest.
it's supposed to be partly cloudy, and I've always wondered what's the difference between partly cloudy and partly sunny. And there it turns out there is a
Perspective.
difference. There is a difference. If it's partly cloudy, then apparently it's the other part is mostly sunny, and if it's partly sunny, then the other part is mostly cloudy. I don't know. It's there's some math involved, some
Is it
algorithm. I'm not sure.
is it water? Is it the glass half full and half empty?
In this case, the glass is all the way full because we've got a great show coming
Oh
up.
my God, we have so much to talk about. It's crazy. And I'm
You're gonna let me
super
get away with that
excited.
cheese ball line? Okay, I appreciate that.
What?
Cheese ball. Yes, including and I think that sometimes we actually do some good and we do some helpful things. And I believe that the well, we're going to find out about pebbling, right? Jen's going to tell me what that's all about. I don't want to know
Yes.
now. But also we
You.
discussed a while ago things you may be doing that are rude, but you may not know that they're rude. There's a few
There's
more of
more.
those we can share
Yeah.
with you too. So there's a couple of good things so far. Now, how are you doing, Jen?
You know what? I am okay. Well, first of all, I just want to say it's National Superman Day, so I'll be celebrating Pat, hot boy, hot firefighter boyfriend Pat.
Yeah, you
Okay.
know what? It's also Jerky Day. So is he also a jerk? No,
Oh, okay.
National Jerky Day.
Uh,
That's great.
thank you for asking, and I know why you're asking, and that is because we got a phone call late last night that you
Yeah.
never like to get, and it was from Pat's brother saying, "Hey, I'm taking mom to the hospital."
Hmm.
So I don't have an update, and I will give you one tomorrow. But the good news is Pat is still sleeping and didn't leave. So that means that I think that means it wasn't maybe that serious where he felt like he had
Okay.
to be there. So
That's
um,
so there's a possible silver lining right now. But
yeah,
yeah, it's, just thoughts and prayers, as they say, and hopefully
yeah.
everything is okay.
Thanks for
Uh,
asking, Curt.
yeah, of course. That was I know. So usually you have some fun partying type of things to talk about, but not always.
Hey, and I
Uh,
want to also mention that
hmm.
we so appreciate you watching or listening or however you're consuming the podcast, the Curt and Jen in the Morning podcast. And if you love what you're hearing, if you could share it, if you could make sure you're following us, not only on the platform that you're watching it on, it depends on how you're consuming it, whether it's watch or subscribe or follow or all the things.
Right.
If you could do that, that would be awesome. And also follow us on social media. We're around all the things, Curt and Jen in the morning. So we'd
And
love
we
to
have
connect with
we're
you.
around all the things. I love it. That covered pretty much everything.
All the things.
Um, Speaking of, yesterday we had this turned into a topic that some people chimed in on because Jen was sharing. Well, it's a challenge being a parent,
Hmm.
not being a parent, but challenge being a parent. And you had mentioned yesterday some issues that were going on right now with your daughter Macy,
Yeah,
a
15-year-old
year
old
old.
Macy. Yes.
Yeah, and you were saying it's a bummer when your kids don't like you, but sometimes you have to do things that make them mad. Well, guess what else? You have some company, Jen.
Oh
You
yeah.
have some
Tell me
people that chimed
more.
in. Well, Diane said, "I swear my 15-year old and I don't fight about anything except her phone usage."
Yeah.
There's the trigger right there. And then Jeff chimed in, "Parenting and phones. Ugh, the never-ending struggle for me too." So,
And here's a little update.
uh,
So
woohoo.
yeah, but wait, there's more.
Okay.
So Macy is very much showing me that she doesn't like me. I mean, I'm a hugger, Curt, you know that.
Mm-hmm.
Hugs and physical touch is very important. I don't care who you are. I think that it's very important. And I try to respect any boundaries they set, but she wouldn't even give me a hug yesterday. And she
Oh,
knows how
shoot.
much those mean to me. And I had a conversation about withholding um affection just to punish someone because that's not healthy.
Not cool.
And then last night I was doing something bad myself. Before I went to bed, I was on Instagram and I'm like noticing that Macy, who just got Instagram at 10:17 at night, was still active. So I put down my phone and I went in her room just to see what was going on. And sure enough, she was on her phone still. And it's 10 o'clock is the hard, like,
Okay.
hard line. Like you don't, so I had to lay down the law again. I'm like, listen, you are making some very poor choices for yourself right now, and they're going to come
Right.
with consequences. So if I see this again, your phone, there's no, not even any question. Your phone is coming out of your room. And I know some parents, that's just the rule, right? At night,
Right.
phone is
Right.
not in the room, period. End of story. There's no conversation. We let Macy have hers in her room. She plays music from it, it's her alarm. And I know there's ways around that. And I will find those ways if she continues to do that. So
Right.
I hate
Well, she
being the
blocks
bad
herself.
guy. Like I'm not the
Yeah.
bad guy, but also I know I'm not my goal isn't to be her friend, it's to be her mom and guide her. But dang it, it sucks
Well,
sometimes.
yeah. And you may be at an age now where it's even more difficult to be the good guy and you're going to have to be the bad guy more often. So, Billie Eilish wrote a song about that. I mean, unrelated to what you're talking about, but
Like, what song was that? All right.
bad guy. All
Okay.
right. Um, so this sort of actually aligns with that as well. And this comes back around to texting, which I have always said, texting is the preferred way of communication for a lot of people these days, and sometimes it's required. I'm still like, oh, I got to call and ask something from somebody or whatever. And
Well, you better
um,
text first if you do that. If you're gonna call, you
right,
gotta text first. We learned that.
because some things can misconstrued in a text, and that's what we're talking about today. I like this subject that you found, Jen.
Oh, yes, the most dreaded one-word text message that you can get. The worst
The
to receive.
one word text
Which kind
messages.
of surprised me actually, because I send this word sometimes.
Well, typically, and this, I guess, we'll see if we agree on this or not. But the idea is when you get a text saying, "How does 8 o'clock sound?" or meet you at such and such, whatever.
Yeah.
And so often you will give a one word response. Like you text me this morning, I sent you a thumbs up, I think, or a smiley face, just to know that I got it and everything was cool.
Yeah.
But
Which I
apparently,
appreciate, by the way. Thank you.
otherwise, yeah, you're like, did he get this? Which makes sense. So it turns out that this could come off as being a little passive aggressive. Like if somebody says, yeah, you okay with that? And you just give them a yep, you know. Apparently you have to do yep without a period, because here it says texting yep with a period is bad. Or if you text great without an
Without an
exclamation
exclamation
point.
point.
Because I guess those could both be great, could be the eye roll, like
Great.
great. Ugh.
Or it can be
So
great.
yes.
It could be
Um,
the tiger type of great.
Right. The question then is, are people being passive aggressive when they respond in this manner? Or that's what you is that what you think? Okay. You just get the one word response. And let's give them what the worst. They say the worst one word text you can send is the word
Sure.
sure. Sure. Because I guess
Sure.
that's also like, how about we get together and we do studying at this time?
Sure.
Sure.
I mean, I didn't think there was anything wrong with that. I text that word sometimes, sure. I didn't think it was bad, but now I will rethink when I text that word. But like you said, punctuation is key when you're texting, especially when you're texting a one word answer.
So sure exclamation point is better than sure period.
Here's the thing, sure to me is better than the one letter that I get from my girls many times, and that's
Is that
K.
K?
K. For crying out loud. It's not that hard to type a few extra characters, people.
You guys come straight home after school. Okay.
For sure. But I don't get sure,
Yeah.
just K. K.
K. Well, they're busy girls. Admit it.
Well,
And you do K as well. Don't no, you probably don't do K because it bothers you that much, but you do sure or yep.
yeah, I do those. Well,
Hmm.
no, I want to make sure I'm coming off friendly. So,
Right.
and
And therein lies the rub with texting versus talking to somebody is you can't hear the tone of
amen.
their voice or whatever. So,
Amen, Curt Cruz.
but now you have been told, you've been warned, sure
Now I
is the
know.
worst one word text message to get. Okay.
Okay, I want to talk about this thing that I did the other day with my mom that is really cool. And I'm going to
Oh
preface
yeah.
it with this. So, one of my, actually, Curt, you know her too. We both worked with her and we're still
Hmm.
friends with her. She is one of my very close friends, Tara. Is starting this company called Docu Memoir. So, like document, docu memoir. And it
Right.
is all about preserving it's not a new concept at all. She's just formalizing it and bringing attention to it because she knows how important it is. And that is preserving the legacy of your family, preserving the memories of your family. So I got to sit down with my mom. She came over, we sat down. It's a 30-minute thing. They recommend it's a 30-minute thing and ask her questions. And I recorded it with my phone and I just learned a lot about my mom that I did not know because I think there's so many times that we don't sit down and talk to our parents and for that matter each other about deeper things, right? Like what are your
Yeah.
regrets in life? What are you most proud of in your life so far?
Right. And
What
and
it
and that's the thing is often like you said, and once it's too late, I mean, my mom passed, and so there are times that things come up where you're like, oh, mom would know this, and
yeah,
and so yeah, and getting to talk to your parents as an adult, so you can have like, not you're always going to be the kid to your mom, right? Or whatever,
yeah.
your mom and dad, but you get to be an adult and you can have those kind of conversations. And I think this is a great way to find out more about your folks, because why else would you have asked her, what's your greatest regret in life? What's your biggest moment or whatever?
Yeah, and so it was just I mean, she recommends a few things and one of them is to have a tissue box. Of course, I needed it and she didn't, and my mom cries at almost everything, but I was getting teary at the things she was saying that
Sure.
I just didn't know, I'm like, "Huh, I need to be better." And I try to be very mindful about getting to know people, but just asking those deeper questions. Mm,
Absolutely.
like
And
I
yeah, I
look
mean, you
at
find out that, particularly when you find out that, again, you've always thought of your parents as mom and dad, but at one point, maybe one of them gave up a career that they were looking forward to doing to have, to raise kids.
yeah.
And I wonder, I've wondered about that too, because my mom was a teacher, and she stopped teaching when she had, well, I'm the oldest, then she had two more kids. So, what's that like too, to say, well, I'm gonna be a mom now, and so I may not be able to pursue these other things, or even with dads as well. So, good things to ask. Yeah. So, and it's the documemoir. What is so is it a package or something that you get with
Oh, yeah,
instructions
yeah,
on how
yeah.
to do it?
Thanks. Thanks for asking that, Curt.
Sure.
First of all, I wanted to tell you what I learned about my mom is like that I loved hearing is she's like in 11th grade, I rebelled. Like I was a rebellious
No
kid.
way.
And I also didn't know her favorite color. I went along thinking her favorite color was yellow and she's like, "No, I changed my favorite color a long time ago. Like I like that color, but really royal blue." And I'm like, "For crying out loud." So doing little
Well,
check-ins like, "Hey, is
well, I
your
don't think
favorite
that's
color
on you.
still
The
yellow?"
favorite color, you change your favorite color. You need to now you need to send out some sort of
Yeah,
information or
please.
notification that I've changed my favorite color, especially from yellow to royal blue. But so yeah, it's that sounds like a cool thing that Tara has come up with. Is there a way to get it?
Okay,
Do we
yes.
want to tell
Okay,
people?
so if you go to documemoir.com,
So
uh,
DOCUMEMOIR,
yeah, .com,
documemoir.com.
you can get all the information. She does everything from like you can just get some coaching on here's the tools that you need to make this successful because that's true and you know this Curt for audio purposes you could record something and then if the audio is not good quality or your
Yeah.
camera's not where it should you're not like there's just things to think about that I didn't think about. So there's that. She has the tools that you need that she can just send you in a kit and then you can just go. And then the
Yeah.
other thing that you can do is send and this is the really cool part, you can send photos and your video that you took with your mom, right? So photos from when she was a child and all that, or anyone, your dad, whoever. Uh,
Okay.
you send the old photos into her, you send the video interview, and then she edits it. She doesn't take anything out. She just adds the pictures in between some of the interview questions that you ask and then adds music. I will make sure I post some of it so that you see it, but it's just, you know what? I'm glad that my kids and their kids and their kids are going to have something like that to remember my mom, Kim. That's it.
Yeah. I think it's awesome. And yeah, that's another thing that you excuse me. When if you've ever had the situation we've had someone pass and then you come across, for me it was like a voicemail. It's like, oh, my mom left that voicemail or whatever the
I
case may
saved
be, and
it.
you hold on to those
Yeah.
things. It's like, this is the last, so you can hear their voice or whatever. And this is what you're talking about. Documemoir is a perfect way to do that without having to dig up old, and
Yeah.
who knows what the voice message is. It's probably like, hey, I'm going to go mow the lawn, call you
Yeah.
later.
I'm
That's not
super
what you want
Yeah, and I'm
to
well, and here are two things. Number one, I'm super proud of her for starting a company because
have.
it takes a lot of guts and it's risky, right? So
Right.
that's awesome for her, just for our friend. And two, the first thing I did after my interview when I went to pick up Macy is I put my little earbud in, hands free, of course, and called who? Curt Cruz. I remember I called you. I'm like,
Yes,
Curt,
you
you have to
did.
do this with your dad before it's too late.
Absolutely. It's, and even if before I even knew, by the way, you didn't tell me until recently, Jen, that this was Tara's project. I thought this sounds like a great idea, and
Yeah.
so I was on board and
Yeah.
you're like, oh, by the way, this is something she came up with, which I think is fantastic. So another way of saying that we don't do ads or commercials for people. This is just really an
Yeah.
awesome
It's
idea that
really,
we
yeah, you just don't regret not doing it, I guess, is the thing. Even if you just do it on your own without her company, just do it. Because it's
fantastic.
okay, Curt, have you heard
Love
of
it.
Pebbling?
I'd heard of it because you said we're going to talk about pebbling today. And I said, well, what is pebbling?
It's TikTok's favorite relationship trend right now. So I had to
Hmm.
read more, of course, when I saw TikTok's favorite relationship trend.
Please do tell of the TikTok relationship trend. This is pebbling.
So it's not really new, but the word is. So it means that penguins do this, that like the male penguins let females know they're interested by bringing a rock to them. It's like a
Oh,
gift. And penguins
hence
also
pebbling.
Yes, and
All
penguins
right.
also use that to build their nest, right? So the whole concept is that when you are getting to know someone or you like someone or you want to just show them that you care, you start pebbling them. You give them little gifts. We in our generation, it might be something like, "Oh, you know what, Curt, I'm going to bring you a cup of coffee because I want to let you know that I care about you and I'm thinking about you." Or I might
Hmm.
send some flowers or I might whatever, right? These gestures, these physical gestures. Well, the
Right.
new generation, they send each other like a funny meme or a funny something. I do this all the time. When I see something online and it reminds me of someone, I send it to them.
That was
So that's
for
pebbling.
me and for you as well. You know what it was? We don't do this anymore, but a mixtape. That was always really
Oh, right.
like you totally like you put some thought into this, and
I
I think
loved
you'll like these
mixtapes.
songs. And I think that when you hear this song, because based on what you told me at the beginning, I was like, okay, so we pebbling and you bring them a rock, and then they help build their house. So it's like when you meet somebody new, you got to give them some, I don't know, some 2x4s. Like here, this is to help build our house if we last. And then
So,
next week
so
you can give them a hammer.
yeah. Well, there, yeah. So, but now memes are a new love language. It just means I'm sending you this because I saw it and thought of you. Here you go.
Nice.
So
Okay, pebbling.
you
So now there's a
probably
word
you're
to go with it
pebbling
as
and you
well.
don't even know it.
The rude things that people are doing without realizing that they're being rude. And this has been covered a lot, not just by
Oh,
us, but also,
my dog's barking. Hold on.
okay, go get her.
Hold on.
The deal is the
Keep
topic that
going.
never seems to run out of answers, trending on BuzzFeed right now. And when we say right now, of course, that could already by this point be 2 or 3, 4 weeks ago, or I don't even know. But the things that you do without realizing they're being rude. One of them that's not on this list is to get up midway through your podcast and leave. Oh, I was hoping she was like, "Oh, hi,
I'm
nothing."
so sorry.
That's all right. So we're going to keep on going here by saying some more things you may be
I
doing
interrupted Jackie because she already like was
that
like,
are rude without knowing it. Are you ready?
yeah, I'm ready. I'm sorry.
Um, Hogging the sidewalk. A group of 3 or more people are walking toward you side by side and make no effort to let you pass. There should be some actual rules for the sidewalk, like, at some point somebody's going to have to move over into the grass, right? And is it, usually with me, it's like, okay, if somebody's coming with a baby carriage, I will move over into the grass and let the baby, that takes priority. The baby carriage does. But, or if you're riding a bike on the sidewalk and you come upon what I think the bike should go over in the grass. Anyway, it doesn't matter. That's just me. But that hogging the sidewalk thing is one of these things that you may be doing that's rude. You may not even know about it.
Driving in a parking lot and you stop and let someone walk and they take the longest path
Oh
possible to get
God.
across the street. They'd go diagonal. They're not hustling
Mm-hmm.
and you're holding up
That's
traffic. It's the worst.
I,
Just
I and I thought I was unusual
quick.
because if I'm going into the store and somebody like stops me to cross, like I book it, man. I
Yeah.
is I'm not sprinting, but I certainly pick up the pace a little bit, and you give them a little wave, a little thank you. So yeah, get across the street quickly when somebody lets you pass, right? How about trying to get on a bus before other people get off? I think this might also apply to elevators.
Yeah. I
Trying
was
to get
just
on a
thinking that.
bus or an elevator before people get off. If you want a seat, yes, but you still have to wait. People get to get off first, and then you get on, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh, this is the one I'm guilty of. I do this. And if I didn't, I'd never talk to my teenage daughter, number one. But even when Pat's on his phone, it's interrupting someone when they're looking at their phone. Everyone accepts it's rude to look at your phone. Um, But
Like in the middle of a conversation or yeah, when you're
yeah,
talking.
yeah, but it's rude the other way too. Like, don't assume that all phone activity is trivial. And
Hmm.
I interrupt, and I need to figure out a better way to do that, I guess, because I don't know, right? They could keep going. If I want to say something, what am I supposed to do? Just keep waiting and waiting and waiting? Well, Macy would never get off her phone.
Well, well, you and I had this worked well for us when we were in the studio together when we were at the radio station. And you're working on this is not what we're in the middle of a break on the air, but Jen's working on stuff for the show and I'm working on stuff. And then one of us will say, let me know when I can have your full attention. Because often we will start talking. Yeah, okay, yeah, I get it, but you're not hearing anything. But to me, it's like with the if looking at the phone is rude to start with, I guess that I would, if it was me and if I really had to take something important, I'd say, hold tight just a second. I got to respond to this or whatever, you
Yeah.
know, let people know that I'm trying not to be rude. Well, like you just had to do with Sailor. You don't want to get up and leave, but you had no choice. So he was like, I'll be right back.
It was actually Phoebe and not Sailor.
Oh, the
Phoebe's my
Phoebe dog.
roommate's dog. She barks whenever. I mean, my dog barks too when there's someone that's strange, but yeah, it was
Right.
Phoebe's. Anyway, it is what it is. Sorry about that. Kurt,
No, it's fine.
Sunday is Father's Day. Sunday is
Father's Day.
Father's Day. Have you gotten a gift for your dad? Because he's in Florida. You need to send it.
Well, you know what? I will tell you what we're getting for my dad after we do this because we
Okay.
actually have what fathers want for Father's Day and what they don't want.
Okay.
The
Tell me.
annual collection of things. Well, I'll leave number one for the end because
Okay. Okay.
but let's go with some other ones that were very popular as to what dads would want for Father's Day. Something food or drink related, so take them to dinner
Okay.
or whatever. Clothing or shoes is on here.
Oh,
Electronics
really? Wait,
for
hold on.
Father's Day.
Clothing or shoes? I think that's hard to buy for dad sometimes. Would you be able to buy your dad some clothes or
Well, does
shoes?
anybody buy anything for Father's Day but t-shirt that says "World's Greatest Dad"? That's what that's like the clothes you get for your dad.
Okay, keep
Best
going. Sorry.
golfer. Electronics is on there. Tickets to a concert or sporting event. Now that's something that you, Jen, and I as well, but you believe strongly in give people what do you call it? Not events, but rather than giving gifts,
Experiences.
experiences. Give people
Experiences. Yes.
experiences.
Yeah.
Yes. The number one thing though that your dad wants for Father's Day is a gift card.
Okay.
I know you would make that face. You know what? And since he's in Florida, yeah, I don't know what I'll get your take on it because I think I know what it's going to be, Jen, but is giving a gift card just seem lazy or that you didn't put any thought into it? Is that the problem?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I want to be more thoughtful than just a gift card, but sometimes that's the answer, right? That's the best thing.
Right. Well,
So
you give somebody an Amazon gift card, they can get, whatever they
anything
want
they want.
up to the value of the gift card, I
Yeah.
should say. But also my dad likes Lowe's and Home Depot gift cards.
So is that what you're
Um,
gonna do? You're gonna get him a gift card?
Yeah, but we'll probably put some thought into it. Like we not just find a local favorite place of his. I know what his favorite restaurants there are in Naples, Bonita Springs, Florida. So obviously I can go down to Fred Meyer or QFC and get Chili's. Do we even have Chili's here? I don't know. I went with that. It's all commercial. Are there
We
Chili's in the
used
Pacific
to. I don't
Northwest?
think we do anymore. No, I don't know that
Okay.
there are.
Regardless, there's lots of
Someone
national
tell us.
chains, Olive Garden, stuff like that. But we'll give him a gift card to his favorite restaurant.
Just don't forget it's Father's Day on Sunday. Celebrate your
There you
dad
go.
if he's around and hug him if he's close.
Yeah, absolutely. And do the 6-second hug that Jen Pirak requires or said is required for certain. What happens? The stars align?
No, all the good chemicals in your body, like you need about it's really 13 seconds. They say 6 at the minimum. Really, if you can go 13 seconds in a hug, it
Hmm.
seems really awkward, but that's when you get all the good stuff. If you just relax and breathe, hug, hug, hug. Oh, it's so great.
6 seconds would seem a little bit awkward. I think 13 would be like, okay, this person's psycho. Come on.
Real
Should we
quick,
talk about?
yeah,
Go ahead.
the most expensive vintage toy because we you were telling me about this. I'm like, no way. Why?
Well, here's the deal. Well, vintage toy. Okay. A record has been set for the most expensive vintage toy ever. But before you go looking around your house to see, oh, maybe I have that and I can make a bunch of money, you probably don't have this. It's a Star Wars figurine, right?
Yeah.
From the original Star Wars. It's Boba Fett. So going back to the original Kenner action figure from 1979. But what they did was they put out a special version, like a prototype was made and designed, and it had a missile that fired from a cannon on Boba Fett's back, right? The company wisely decided this could be harmful to kids. So they said, all right, we're not going to do the one that fires the missile. We'll make this, but it's not going to fire off any missiles. Okay.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea.
However, there were about 100 of the prototypes that were made with the working rocket that fired and were produced. And one of those that somebody somehow had, I guess you can only get your hands on this if maybe if you worked for Kenner or you were somehow involved, because they weren't ever actually, I don't think they were sold. So one of these just sold at auction for $525,000, $500,000 plus.
Oh, over $500,000.
Boba Fett.
Oh my God.
Well, the previous
Okay.
record for one of these they put it here as the choking hazard Boba Fett. That's probably not how they labeled it on the box. Come get it now, the choking hazard Boba Fett. The previous record was 236,000. So
That's
now
still too much for a little figurine. But if it shoots a missile, I mean, come on.
it beat its own record, $525,000. And I still don't know how people have these things from 30, 40 years ago that have not been opened, because when I was a kid and you got a toy, you know what you did with it?
You opened it and played with it.
Exactly. And within a day, it was destroyed, you know?
Yeah.
So anyway, there you go. If you want to make a quick $500,000 and you have one of those Boba Fetts, you are in luck.
Yeah. All right. I'm excited about this for tomorrow because it has to do with music. So you should be excited too, Curt. This is what we're gonna talk
tell me about it.
This is your homework. Think about this. It's actually going to be instantaneous. What song do you think of when I say the words, "Hey now"? Don't answer it. Don't
Okay,
give it
I
away
had it
because
right
I
away.
have one. You and I talked about this already, and we had very different answers, and it says something about you based on your answer.
So however you answer this question, when you hear these words, what song do you think of? And the words are,
Hey now.
"Hey now." What song do you think of?
I
And
almost
based
can't
on your
help it.
answer, so you're saying that there are like, based on your answer, it says something about you.
Yeah. Yeah, we're going to talk about it tomorrow. Hey now. I almost can't help but sing my version of what I'm thinking, but I'm trying to restrain from it.
Shoot, I can only think of two, but there's got to be more than that.
I only could think of two as well, but there are a couple more. There's at least a couple more.
Okay, well, we'll find out tomorrow. The
Okay.
words, "Hey now." What
In
song
the,
do you think of?
in the meantime, have an awesome Wednesday. Make it a great day.
Yes.
Make good choices, find joy, spread that kindness all around. And thank you so much for listening.